more leaders in that part of Nigeria. And I think and I'm very, very glad when I read the inaugural plan of the newly inaugurated Emir of Kano, who says, look, my priority is education. And I think that is the way to go. And I think that would be one of his priorities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at security right now, and we know, for example, that schools, especially in the north, are one of their main targets, you know. And so when we have grand plans like this, how is this going to work?
Oh, well, you know, we are increasingly we live in a very unsafe world. And I think that stakeholders understand that now. We can't live like we used to live. Some have said that there's nowhere that's safe in the world. You know, you look at the news, you look at what is happening in Iraq, you look at what is happening in America, you know, nowhere is safe. And I think that there are new initiatives, like the Safe School initiatives, that, look, in as much as the schooling world may not probably predict or in control of what is happening in the outside world, but that community should be able to respond rapidly to the new and emerging issues in the world. And I think that is also happening in some other sectors. And I think in education, people are really sitting back, thinking deep. We are not going to shut schools because of the attacks, but we should be able to put the schools in such a shape that we'll be able to fend off, you know, or drastically reduce the attack. When you put up emergency situation, emergency code, ethics, these are things that I think can really make education thrive in the midst of such attacks. It's worked in Afghanistan. Education survived in the midst of the hostility of Taliban, you know. And I think that this is something that Nigeria is quickly grasping. And I tell you, government may not come out and tell you all they know, but I know that there are a whole lot of, you know, background work that they are doing to ensure that Nigeria really meets up with this challenge and not left behind.
You know, I also found this interesting. The report by the MDG that also claimed that states prefer construction over educational priorities of the UBE in order to gain political leverage among the people, and, you know, so on and so forth. And of course, they build more classroom blocks instead of maybe laying their priorities on training, which really is essential. You know, what do you think? How does this place us right now?
Yeah, I think that there is politics and there is policy, but sometimes
maybe we're having more of the politics than
yes,
the policy.
than the policy. And the policy is the lifeblood of development, you know. So I think that it's high time politicians know that certain areas should be a no-go area, like education. You don't play politics with education. Once you begin to play politics with education, you are trading off the future of the very platform that brought you to limelight, which is education anyway. So I think they need to know this. They need to know this. There's something about education. Once people get to know that about education, I think they will stop playing politics with education. Education is long term. You do something today, you don't get the consequences until another 10, 15 years. In fact, part of the neglect is what you have as a consequence is the Boko Haram infiltration.
And that's why we're in this sort of crisis
yes.
right now.
So I think that they need to know that education is serious business, it's technical, and there should be minimal political incursion into that business.
All right, it seems the government is more interested in establishing commissions, you know, and so on and so forth, without really necessarily pumping in the needed funds that is desired to make this thrive and affect, you know, students or children across the nation.
I think that I think the government is trying in terms of injection of funds. There are agencies who have a lot of funds, and we know that. I think that they need to be more strategic with the way the fund is utilized. It's not about funding in Nigeria. You know, people say, oh, education is more fun. By the time we go into the books and you see the MDG funding supporting education, the UBEC funding supporting education, ETF supporting education, all sorts of funds, you bring them together. It may not be enough, but with the little that we have, are we really judiciously using it?
Thank you very much, Mr. Wale Samuel, for sharing your time with us on Dateline Abuja.
Thank you.
It is a well-known fact that poverty and access to education relate. However, it's puzzling to know that access to primary education is deteriorating in Nigeria despite government and international commitments such as National Policy on Education, Universal Basic Education, Child Rights Act, Millennium Declaration and Education for All, as well as huge budgetary allocations from the federal and state governments. The question is, why is this so? Here are a few facts to illustrate the situation. According to the 2011 review of the Millennium Development Goals on achieving universal primary education, 65% of out-of-school children are expected never to enter primary schools in their lifetime by 2015. The report links this situation to the difficulty of overcoming barriers to education in Nigeria. The total number of about 46 million illiterate adults places Nigeria in a category of only 10 countries worldwide with more than 10 million adult illiterates. With 9% of total government budget on education, Nigeria's education priority is way too low compared to other countries. Critical problems revealed by UNICEF interventions in northern Nigeria include limited access of education to the poor, high gender parity imbalance in northern states, insufficient enrollment rate, and low quality of education. A key barrier to the attainment of the MDG-2 in Nigeria can be traced to the huge disparities in education between the north and south. For example, primary net attendance rates vary from 18.4% in Zamfara to 81.3% in Lagos, according to the National Population Commission 2011. Indeed, these statistics are worrisome if the issues of insecurity, poverty and literacy are yet to be considered. Many have canvassed that policies, programs and reforms should be designed to improve the sector. Well, we thank you as always for your views and comments, and you can also send them via the address and Twitter handle right on your screen. And you can also view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos and make your comments after viewing the current video as well as other episodes of the program. Well, thank you for watching this week. I'm Gloria Umezuki. See you again.